Black Lady of Bradley Woods. Hundreds of years ago, a poor woodsman lived in a cottage with his wife and baby, and they lived happily until the woodsman was pressed into military service by the local landowner during the English Civil War. The woodsman's wife waited and waited for months for any news of her husband, but none ever came. One New Year's Day, a group of soldiers on horseback came riding through the woods, part of a force that had been plundering the surrounding countryside. Coming across the cottage, they broke in and demanded the woodsman's wife hand over all of her money and any strong drink she might have. When she refused, the soldiers beat and raped her savagely, before taking the baby and riding off, laughing wickedly. From that day on, the woman dressed in black and roamed the forest, searching for her missing child, accosting anyone she met and begging them for any news of the baby. She soon earned a reputation as being quite mad, and some people began to give the woods a wide berth. The woodsman never returned home, and the woman continued to roam the woods, desperately searching for her lost baby, until the day she died. Legend has it that her ghost still wanders the woods today, and if anyone is brave enough to walk into the woods on New Year's Day and shout, Black Lady, I've stolen your baby," 3 times, the woman shall appear and confront them. A Mother's Love. This story happened on a cold mid-autumn day somewhere in the Midwestern states. 2 gentlemen were working in the town's small general store. The store was quiet and no customers were shopping until she walked in. A small, frail woman, dressed in gray. She entered the store and proceeded toward the dairy section, saying nothing, when she picked up a glass container of milk, and without paying for it or even glancing at the gentleman, walked out of the store. The men, surprised by the woman's thievery, hurried out the front door after her, but she was gone. A few days later, the incident occurred again. The same small woman dressed in the same gray dress entered the store, grabbed a glass container of milk, and left without paying. Again, the men tried to follow after her, but found her nowhere to be seen. The woman soon appeared once again, the same small woman dressed in the same gray dress. Entered the store, paid no attention to the men, snatched a glass container of milk, and vanished out the door. The men, slightly more prepared this time, quickly followed the woman out of the front door. She hurried down the town's main street, and the men found themselves having to run to keep up with her. She hastily turned down a dirt path, just at the edge of a woods. This is where the men lost her. They tracked on farther and came to a small cemetery neither of them knew existed. Suddenly, they heard a small noise. Concentrating, they identified it as a baby's cry. The sound was coming from the ground, in front of a gravestone marking the death of a mother and her infant, who were buried together. Unsure of what else to do, the men quickly found shovels and exhumed the coffin. The crying became louder as they dug. When they reached the coffin, they pried off the lid, and inside found the small gray-dressed dead woman, with a live, crying infant in her arms, and the 3 empty glass containers of milk. The poor child had been mistakenly buried alive, and the spirit of her deceased mother had kept her alive until she was found. A Mother's Plea. On a dark summer night, a couple was on their way home from the movies, riding down the same stretch of road they always took to get to their house, when they came across a woman who was on the side of the road. The woman stumbled out into the street and flagged them down. The couple pulled over and rushed to her aid. She seemed to be badly injured, and with tears in her eyes, told the couple that she was just in a horrible car accident, and her baby was trapped in the back seat. The man told the woman to stay with his wife, and he would go and free the baby. As the man approached the mangled vehicle, he heard the baby crying in the back seat. Relieved that the baby was still alive, he rushed to the car, got in the back, and freed the baby. As he lifted the child, he noticed the dead couple in the driver and passenger seat. He got out with the baby and went back to where his wife and the woman were waiting, but as soon as he got there, he noticed that his wife was by herself. "Where's the woman?" the husband asked. "She went back to the car to help you," his wife said, also relieved that the baby was still alive and okay. He gave the baby to his wife and went back to the car to look for the woman. When he got there, he called out for her, but there was no answer. He walked around towards the front of the car, and as he glanced in through the broken windshield at the dead couple inside, his face turned pale, and he lost his breath. The dead woman who was in the passenger seat was the same woman who had flagged them down.